Hello, my name is Bethany and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do a more of a manly card, something I was inspired because I've been seeing a lot of these more manly cards popping up lately on different channels, especially my aunt who has her own channel, TR's Place. You should check her out. And I was like, ooh, I need to make a manly card myself. So let's get started. I'm going to do an A2 card. I pre-cut some of these bigger ones. My brain's not fully here today. I am going to use the pre-cut cards from, I believe this set's from Michael's, and I had already gone ahead and cut a card font. So I've actually been, if you've been following my channel, I've been a little bit of MIA. This is the Stamp It Up 3D embossing. I believe it's a cut. I forgot exactly the name of it, but it's basically forest trees, and it's kind of cool, a little different because it's 3D. It's not just a straight emboss. There's a little bit more texture to it. Alright, and I'm going to line that up where the top tree doesn't go across, and I'm going to use my Cuttlebug to emboss this. Fit it in here real quick. And if you notice, I can like push it through and it's not going to actually emboss. So one trick I've learned is to put a few extra bits of cardstock in underneath the embossing folder if you don't have just the right fit. And that should go through now. So the reason I've been a little bit of MIA is because some of you who have been following the channel for a while now know that I am a little bit over 8 months pregnant. And a few days ago, 5 to be exact, my regular contractions started up, and they weren't fun or easy, and I was like, oh no, we're doing this already. So there you can see the 3D different trees. So if I have to pause the video, it's because my contractions have become too much to talk through. So one tip I have, and I don't know if I've seen this anywhere, I think I just did it on a whim to see what would happen, because you all know by now I really like my ombre ink pads. I wish Tim Holtz would come out with some ombre ink pads too, and if he has, I have not seen them myself. But I'm going to use this green ombre ink pad, and because it's 3D, you don't want to push too hard, you kind of just want to swipe. So just swipe up, and a few of those colors pick up nicely on the trees. We'll beef these up a little bit more. So I started the contractions, and they sent me home. They said, you're not dilated enough, so we're going to just have you wait it out at home in the comfort of your home. And then the next day the contractions got worse, and so I went back in, and no, you're dilating but not enough, so go wait it out at home, relax, enjoy, do what you need to do. So I've been in a holding pattern for several days, but that also means that all of those checklists that I've had for months and months of like, I gotta do this before I have a baby, well, now I have to literally do this before I have a baby. So it's getting dramatic and annoying and all that fun stuff. But alas, I discovered late last night that the now we're going to pause my story. We're going to use some water brush tip pens. They're not, super great for blending, but they work for what I'm going for. So starting with a light colored first. I'm brushing to just catch the little bits of the trees. Actually, I gotta come over here to see the tree better. But so just trying to get little bits of highlights in there without doing exactly the whole tree. The lighting's better for whatever reason going this direction, so go figure. And I had a couple of projects that I was like, oh yeah, they've been sitting on the sidelines for a few months. I need to actually get these projects done now before a baby's born because they will never get done at that point. So I started working on them last night, and all of a sudden contractions started getting less, and they were easier, and then they just stopped altogether. And I was a little shocked because I was not expecting that at all. And I actually ended up with about, I'd say, several hours, enough to get 5 hours worth of sleep last night. That of, quality sleep, not just a little bit of sleep. And it was delightful, like absolutely delightful. So I was like, well, baby, that's what I need to do. I need to do some work, and that'll help me focus and contraction. Let the contractions, work themselves out, relieve some stress, all that. Well, 8:15 this morning, back at it again, like I never stopped. So, go figure. I'm still dilating, but it is just slow as molasses dilation. So, I'm all packed and ready to go. Baby's room is as ready as it's going to be at this point. And yet, no baby yet. So, in the meantime, I'm going to just try to do as many stress relieving things as possible. One of which includes making cards. So, and I'm not looking for perfect trees. I'm just trying to get some highlighting and different. It's almost like I'm looking for that watercolor look without trying to look like I watercolored this. And letting that embossing folder really shine through. And not all of it's going to be visible in the final product anyways, but the concept's there. Eventually I'm going to get into alcohol markers and do this a little bit more in detail, which will probably give a nice, cool, different effect. But whew, and I just got a swift kick. Alright, so I'm going to add a little bit of teal. It's just an odd color addition, so it's not just strictly greens. Little flecks of it, nothing terribly exciting. Just to make it feel fun. Alright, and then I think I like the white that's still showing because it kind of looks like, you know, there might be some forest or white snow or whatever. We're looking for manly, so that is the goal. Alright, then we're going to blend in a little bit of Distressed Oxide ink to add a little bit of sky. Don't need too much. Kind of looking for the hint of sky, but not the complete. Don't need all the white covered again. It kind of looks like it's a little smokier, and I like it. All right. Now we are going to let this dry, set it aside. And I had grabbed another pack of the scrap pad, there's the scrap paper pack from the Dollar Tree, because I saw some browns and I was like, ooh, yes, browns. We are needing brown because it's fall and fall needs browns. I mean, it's not fall, but it's September, which to me is fall enough, even though it still hit 80 degrees today. And let's see, let's grab this color. Yeah, I'll do this grayer looking brown. And we're just going to stamp a sentiment on it, and then we're going to emboss it with the clear gloss. So the sentiment I picked is from the Stampin' Up! Thoughtful Branches set. I got it from Goodwill for just a couple bucks. And score. Somebody must have, you know, been emptying out their stash because they put a lot of Stampin' Up! Stamp sets out, and it was like, oh yes, please, yes, I will take them all. So, alright, so this is the You're in My Thoughts, and we're going to use the Distressed Oxide Ground Espresso, and then I'm going to add a little leaf here to the edge because it kind of goes up. The writing goes up a little bit visually. So I'm going to add this little leaf here. We'll do the shabby shutters. That's a little less bright looking, neon looking. Let's go ahead and add that embossing powder before it gets too dry. So, besides being completely exhausted, most of the labor thus far is not terrible. I feel like my first, when I was in labor with her for 9 straight hours, was the worst, just for the simple fact that I was full term, considered full term with her. It was a lot heavier than these other two who seem to want to be early birds. Even though my first was 11 days early, she's not considered a preemie whatsoever. So, alright, let's put this on. Since it's a thinner paper, we're going to put it on a low setting for the heat gun. And we're going to just move it, keep it moving until it looks wet. And then we know that the embossing powder is set. And it's just a clear gloss, so it's not going to be super fancy or sparkly. Remember, we're doing a masculine card this time. But it'll give that wetness a little bit of pop to it. And then before we piece this together, another tip I had seen from my aunt's channel, and I thought that was an amazing idea, so I'm going to borrow it, is to take an ink pad and distress the edging on your sentiment. So just doing it like that. Doesn't need to be a large amount or anything like that, but enough to just give that little burned on color look. And I've tried this technique with the ombre too, and it's kind of interesting, but I felt the ombre ink would be too much for this card specifically. But yeah, it doesn't need to be a lot, just enough to look a little bit worn. We're going for manly, of course. And then let's piece it together. So this you'll see from the back, it's got those different layers still even on the back, so I suggest using the art glitter glue. Just because tape runners, foam dots don't seem to work well in my experience when you have that 3D embossing, but the art glitter glue does. I'm going to just go right over the hello here, because that's not what I wanted for this masculine card specifically. And then just pat it down. And there will not be any wink of Stella in this one. Now, because the 3D embossing is kind of harder to stick to, I try not to use the foam tape with it, but you can. In this case, though, I'm just going to lay it flat because I'm going to be mailing this. So if you are planning on mailing like a gift card, I don't suggest using a foam dot or foam tape at all. Doesn't seem to work out well. And then I'm going to let this dry. And I will keep you all posted if my son should arrive this week. Maybe I'm going to be in labor for 2 weeks. Who knows? We are on day 5 and some change now. So, thank you for joining us. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we hope to see you soon. Bye.